Ang ating mahal na kapatid, Brother Sok, laging inuulit yan. Yan lang ang topic niya. God died. Parang hindi naka-move on.
You're such a liar. Ang daming itinuturo ni Brad Sok, sinishare niya sa mga lectures niya. Hindi lang GDL issue. Ikaw, gusto mo talagang manira, pare ka pa naman. Huy, mga fanatic nitong taong to, mag-isip naman kayo. CFD Cebu is teaching God died in His human nature only. It is not an opinion from the organization. It is a statement in accord with the Council of Trent. So stop lying, Darwin Gitgano.
When Jesus died on the cross, it was His human nature which was subjected to death, not His divine nature. Yan po ang official turo ng simbahan. Ito po ang bago.
So ang bago pala ngayon ay ang sulat ni Sopan kay Ramon. Yung tatlong bishop na nakunan ng video, hindi sila updated. Kasi ang updated, yung mga nagbabasa at kumukot sa sulat ni Sopan kay Ramon. So sa mga fans nitong taong to, i-compare natin kung ang susundin ba natin yung luma or yung bago. Yung tatlong bishop hindi gumagamit sa statement or sa explanation nitong taong to, kasi ang ginagamit ng tatlong bishop ay yung base sa luma. Pero ngayon, may bago na pala. Hindi na nga niya pinopromote ang dogma na even the Pope cannot change the dogma. Pero siya, pinopromote niya yung letter ni Sopan at yung interpretation at yung statement mismong God died literally at divine person died literally na hindi mababasa sa mga dogmatic statement or sa Biblia.
The doer of the action is the divine person because Jesus has no human person. So sinong namatay? Ang divine person.
It's the divine person who died.
It's not the divine person.
Ang divine person.
It's the divine person who died.
It's not the divine person.
Ang divine person.
It's the divine person who died.
It's not the divine person.
And you're accusing me of clip cutting. What do you expect? Bishop Bactol will say it's not the divine person who died literally, and you're expecting he will also say it's the divine person who died literally?
Not divine nature. Hindi mamatay yung divine nature ni Kristo.
The old teaching of the Catholic Church is that person and nature are one and the same reality. So, how can it be that person and nature have one and the same reality if the status of the person is dead while the divine nature cannot die? That's a contradictory to the teaching of the Catholic Church. That's from Satan. Further, who holds the divine nature of the second divine person since the second divine person died literally? Could you be telling us that it's the first and the third divine person holds the divinity of the second divine person? That obviously is a common sense that it is a blatant contradiction to the dogma of the Catholic Church. In addition to that, the Church strongly teaches us that the persons, three divine persons, possesses one essence. When we say one essence, it's one numerical essence, not one symbolic essence. This proves that to say that the nature did not die and the person died is a teaching not from the Catholic Church, but somewhere else. The dogma is very clear that if anyone shall say that it was God who died on the cross, he is heretical. But you're changing it to the divine person. Are these three divine persons not God? Or two different kinds of God that we have? The alibi of the GDL group would say that God here refers to the nature. Obviously, the church knows that the nature cannot be hanged on the cross. How can someone hang a nature wherein you cannot even see a nature? Because it is metaphysical, not abstract. So, by saying, if anyone shall say that it was God who died on the cross, the church have in mind that someone would say that it was God literally hanged on the cross. The church must have that in mind already. That's why they declared it as a dogma. Now, what happened? Boom. The church anticipated the coming of this God died literally.
The Godhead doesn't die.
Because the Godhead is not R, but is the three divine persons. So it's wrong to say God died or the second divine person died. Because the second divine person is in one Godhead with the first divine person and third divine person. Remember that, Darwin, before you say convince ka na.
Literal na ang divine person experienced death. Not the divine nature of Jesus. Yung human nature ni Kristo, totoo namatay.
Pero di ka makaingon na nga ang human nature mo ay namatay. Because natures do not die. Kaya naman, ang nature abstract man na,
Totoo namatay.
do not die.
Totoo namatay.
Do not die.
Nakaintindi ako sa point ni Father Fran dahil nag-aaral kami ng filosofiya.
Tanong ng mga hindi nakapag-aral sa philosophy. Unawain natin ng maayos ang sulat ng Cbcp gamit ang mga referensyang inilahad sa atin ng simbahang Katoliko. Alin ba talaga? Basics of metaphysics or basics of catechism?
Is it a correct understanding of the Catholic faith to say that when Jesus suffered and died, that only his human nature suffered and died and not the divine person? Answer: no, it is not correct. When the Lord Jesus Christ died, it is proper to say that God died. The reason is this: the subject of the actions of Jesus is the divine person, that is, God. Nature, in metaphysics, is the principle of operation, the subject, suppositum, the subject of operation, is always the person in rational beings.
Clearly, he was saying that both his human nature and divine person died. The question is, how did this, one, his human nature, and two, the divine person died? Now, let's start with the first one as clearly taught to us by the Council of Trent kung dili lang ta magbinugo. The Council of Trent teaches us in his human nature. This in his human nature refers to the God, not a God, the supreme being as God, the divine person, the God as a nature, but not a person. Letter C, the second divine person before incarnation. Letter D, the second divine person after the incarnation. Man with body and soul. F, God and man at the same time. G, as God, not as man. H, as man, not as God. Or if you have another answer, Darwin Gitgano, provide it to us. Now let's go to the second one. As clearly explained by Supan, including daw the divine person literally died because person is the doer of the action. Which of these below is your answer this time, Darwin Gitgano?
Official teachings of Sipan, when Jesus died on the cross, it was his human nature which was subjected to death and not his divine nature.
Uy, bright na pare, kinsay doer sa divine nature.
Hindi ka makaingon na nga ang human nature mo ay namatay. Because natures do not die.
Hindi ba kayo nakukonsensya, Darwin, Fran, at iba pa? Pilit niyong itinatama ang mga nag-contradicting statements ninyo para lang ipalabas na tama yung sulat ni Supan addressed to Ramon na hindi naman gumagamit ng dogma or dogmatic statements of the church. Metaphysics lang pala ang pag-aaralan natin. Iba't pa tayo may CCC, may FCD. Punta na lang tayo sa metaphysics. But don't forget, in metaphysics, one person is equivalent to one nature. That's the basics of metaphysics. Christ is not part of the basics of metaphysics because Christ has one person and two natures. Iba, di ba? Even sa letter ni Cardinal Vidal, ang in-explain ninyo, ang pinupush ninyo ang second letter. Yung first letter, ang daming nakasulat doon na statement of the church, mga dogmatic statement, hindi na ginagamit pagdating sa kaisupan. Dinadaan nyo pa ang tao sa mga authority para matakot. Huy, dogma ang ipromote ninyo. Uy, wag nyong ipromote ang mga contradicting statements against laban sa dogma. Di ba kayo mga nakukonsensya, mga pari kayo? Marami pang ebidensya basihan ang CFD Cebu na hindi namin binibigay. Kasi pag-aaralan na naman nila paano nila sagutin para lalabas lang yung letter ni Supantama.
Is it a correct understanding of the teaching of the Catechism of the Council of Trent to say that the expression God died is not to be understood literally, but rather figuratively? That is, anthropomorphism and or synecdoche. Answer: no, it is not correct. The expression God died is to be understood literally, not figuratively.
Kinig yung paring ang apelido Supan, isa sa hinungdan, isa sa primary root, aning gubot ba? Sus, ang tao-taon, madalahig mo tuos, klaro kayong supak sa dugma, tungod lang kay Cbcp. Ang tao nga nagpaluyo ani, gangisi. Ang mga uban diha, nagkarambol na, naglibog na, kay either tuo sa dugma, or moadto sa Cbcp. Unya ang Cbcp, rabad, di rabad yun manggamit og dugma. Unsay pulos anang dugma nga ang Cbcp manggani mismo wa ni gamit kay ang gamiton metaphysics patay lagi ang di mamatay. I'm talking about kani nga letter ha, tanawa paralel kaayo sa ikaduhang letter daw ni Cardinal Vidal. May patong first letter kay nang gamit gid og pagtulunan sa simbahan, kini wa naman. Let us listen again sa comparable statements ng tatlong bishop. Video recorded yan ha, hindi yan papirma-pirma. Okay, so sila hindi gumagamit ng explanation na God died literally. Bakit itong mga apat na pare nagpipumilit na God died literally? Itong tatlong bishop, nakalimutan nila na literally pala? Sila lang may alam, itong mga pare na to, kasi literally, kasi ayon kay Supan.
Christ is God, huh?
Yes, and one
Christ
person
has
only.
died, Christ is risen, Christ will
That
come.
means it's the divine person who died.
It is not the divine person. It is not the divine person. It is not the divine person. It is not the divine person.
Ganito yon. When you ask the question, who is the one who died on the cross? Okay? So, the answer is, the Son of God become man is the one who died on the cross. The second person of the Blessed Trinity, who is true God, died on the cross. He died on the cross not as God but as man. The divine person died in his human nature.
That should be the statement.
That is the statement, correct.
Okay, thank you, Bishop.
Hep, hep, hep. Sandali lang, Bishop Makani. Kasi sabi ni Darwin Gitgano, pag sa tanong who, ang sagot ay divine person died literally because the divine person literally experienced death. Mali kaya ta, Bishop Makani ha? Siya ang tama.
For the issue some question of understanding, no, the quote unquote the penalty imposed upon you does not warrant. Basta di ko mo consider na I do not subscribe, no. I do not subscribe nila. Kita gyapon, no. So ang ilang akuan nga pawaon kamo kay sila na. Ang ako nga tubagis relax lang kamo, no. Kining other faith defenders, no. Sige lang na kamo kay kadagan mga i-discuss sa pagtuong nga magkuan kay kita ini. The issue, no, has been there, no? And many times it is a question of the understanding of the words, no? As I said, of the script or of the words, no? I was thinking, of course, no, everybody knows, even ordinary people in a simple parallel, no? Si Pope John Paul II namatay, no? Pero santos na, meaning ang iyang kalagboy, no? Ang iyang lawas, dito sa kwan, no? Cemetery, no? Parallel, no, as we made very clear, no? Jesus being human, no, and divine, in the strict sense of the word, no? The divine really, in that sense, does not die, no? So the same with Jesus, no? We're saying Jesus Christ died, no? Pero ang sa atong una sa atong lawas na ganyan namatay, no? Pero kay Diyos na ganin siya, kung ang tao ganin nga mamatay, ang ganin kalag din mamatay, labi lang Diyos. It is his being man, no? His human nature that really died, no?
Hindi nagsasabi naman tayong pagka-Diyos ni Kristo. Ay paulit-ulit nilang sinasabi niyan.
You're such a liar, Darwin Gitgano. At saka yung mga followers mo, yung mga fanatic sa'yo, maniniwala sa sinabi mo na ang CFD Cebu nagtuturo na ang pagka-Diyos ang namatay. No, that never happened. You're such a liar. Ang demon ra ba ang ama ng lies? I don't want to ask you this, but allow me to ask you, how are you related? Di ba palagi kayong may mga encounter? Bakit ang sinungaling mo? Sinabihan na ako ni Bradsock na huwag magsalita ng masama laban kay Darwin Gitgano. But sagot ko, yan ang fitting. Mali ba kung magprangka ng sagot? Ang simbahan nagtuturo ng two senses of the scripture, literal at spiritual. Hindi literal at figurative. Sandali, mali pala ako kasi hindi din pala naka-scripture yung sa kanila, kaya hindi pwedeng literal at spiritual, dapat literal at figurative ang pagpapilian. Now, let us listen carefully sa turo ng Council of Trent base sa nakasulat. Tingnan natin kung gumagamit ba ang Council of Trent ng terminong literal death of God. Hindi. Bakit sila may mga makakapal na mukha gagamit ng terminong hindi ginamit ng Council of Trent? Di ba alam ng